This video here is going to be going over two psychology tips that you can apply for your outbound for your B2B company that you are running. I think there's so much more psychology that actually goes into a lot of outbound that you might not realize. In this video, I just want to highlight the two biggest ones that I think are helpful for anybody running cold email or any kind of outbound. This document here is something that I spent a ton of time putting basically everything that I know about cold email into a singular document. It's going to be available in the description for you to download and take a read through. I highly recommend if you're a founder, if you're a sales leader going through that, I think there will be something in there that will be helpful for you. Let's get right into this video. So this is going to be how to create curiosity and make it impossible for your leads not to respond to you. So the first thing that I want to touch on, funny enough, is something that I actually did learn in school, but it's called the curiosity gap theory. This is the idea that basically all outbound kind of revolves around. So curiosity gap theory is the psychological principle that curiosity is sparked when there's a gap between what we know and what we want to know. So this suggests that humans have an innate drive to seek information or resolve uncertainty, which motivates us to engage with content or messages, etc. When you are applying outbound messages and you're running campaigns like this is actually what is going on, whether you or the prospect is aware of this or not. And the reason for this is because assuming that these messages are to a cold audience, like when you're reaching out to somebody and you're talking about, some desired outcome. Let's say we're talking about a lead gen offer. Okay, hey, John, we can help grow your sales pipeline, or we can get you more calls with these kinds of people, or we can rank you first on Google for whatever it is. What you're actually doing is by explaining that desired state, you're sparking something in the prospect's mind of where they currently are now, which is assuming that they're not at that desired state. And by introducing that state, you're creating the gap between the two. And this is kind of what curiosity gap theory talks about and actually is. So when you're coming up with copy ideas and when you're writing messages, this is what you should be trying to pull on to get people to take that initiative and want to fill that gap, because that's all that you are trying to do, and that's all that you really can do with cold prospects, because it's very, very rare that you're going to find or you're going to have an offer and what you're saying in 3 lines of text is able to get somebody to jump on that right away, or to pull out their credit card and say, Ryan, this sounds awesome, I want to blah blah blah, I want to pay for it, I want to do whatever. All you're really trying to do is break past that first layer and make what you're saying interesting enough for people to take, hey, that sounds cool, can you send me more information? Or, hey, yeah, that sounds cool, let's talk on Tuesday, right? That's all that you are really trying to do. And that is what curiosity gap theory is. So that's kind of cool. The next is just using effective tone and language. This is a bit less psychology heavy, but it still very much has a proper application into how we think. One of the biggest advantages that we have found and really try to utilize in cold email is treating it not like an advertising platform. And I want to pull up a post example that I put out on LinkedIn yesterday. I'm going to pop over to it right now. So what we did for a campaign, so I'm from around Toronto. I'm a bit north. I'm from Canada. Obviously, hockey is a huge thing here. And so Toronto's beloved hockey team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, they've had a lot of problems in the playoffs in past, but everybody here's a fan. Like, the city's kind of buzzing around it. And so what we did is we ran campaigns to Toronto-based companies, and it was targeting much like sales leaders, I think it was. And in half of the message, we were just talking about the Leafs. Like it wasn't too related to my offer, but the copy was very, very casual. It was very like laid back, saying, hey, like, did you catch game 6 the other night? And it was just this really like laid back message. And I mean, we only launched just like a few days back. But like a few of the replies that we were getting, like we were getting people kind of complimenting what we were doing, already kind of making a few connections and getting some leads from there. But what I want to kind of build upon with this is that your outbound and your cold email should be extremely casual language. One of the advantages of using email or LinkedIn as an advertising channel for you is that it shouldn't sound like one, because what happens in advertising platforms, like if you're on YouTube, if you're on Meta, or some other social media platform and you're seeing advertisements, what you've actually probably done is built up this resistance to advertising messages because you see so much of them, right? As soon as you see, commercials, like, could you name me 5 commercials that you watch in a night when you're watching a hockey game or a basketball game? Probably not, because you build up this resistance to them. They don't even pay attention to them, right? Like, I know me, I get a lot of stuff that's targeted about like agency owners, and if you want to fill your and I just block it. Like, I've just seen so much of it, and so that's the biggest advantage that you have with outbound over email or over LinkedIn or something like that, is that you can use language and messaging that does not sound like that, meaning that people don't have that guard up right away. But this is only possible if you are using casual language. If you're talking to somebody like you would talk to a colleague at the office, or that you would have a conversation with somebody if you ran into them in the streets, right? And that is a psychological principle that you can apply to your cold outbound copy that is going to be extremely, extremely valuable, is not treating it like how you write ad copy, or how you write, copy that you would put in an advertisement and run that way. That's the biggest advantage that cold email, that outbound has, is that it can be conversational, and that sales resistance or that guard doesn't get brought up right away because people are a bit more casual to it. And so those are 2 things that I think if you apply to your outbound right now, it would be extremely valuable for you and your company. And that's, like, I have, I think, 20 or 22 examples here of everything to do with cold outbound copy. I highly recommend you check out that video. I hope this video helped. Like, comment, share this video if you thought this was cool. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon. Peace.